The Miracle Requirements Document, or Investigating the Power of Artificial Intelligence. In a somewhat boring poem, wonderfully entitled Strategic Software Development for Girls New to Programming, we briefly outlined a server, application, and user interface architecture. We described a program that didn't really have a purpose, but formed a fine foundation for a responsible web application. I closed the poem by hinting that the reader should feed it into the AI, and have done so the following day myself. You should know that the resulting requirements document is just enhanced instructions for the AI. It is still very fluid. I would call it an intermediate representation of the architecture, as it is yet to be converted into files. I have uploaded the resulting document to a proper code repository, B.O.W.T.I.E, an acronym for Brighten Our World Through Intelligent Engineering. Being the original author, I have added some special instructions during the requirements doc generation, so allow me to read them to you first, and then we will very briefly go over the resulting document, which contains some code and actually runs over 1,100 lines long. In the first pass, where I fed it the poem, I asked, can you convert strategic software development for girls new to programming to a detailed requirements document that AI can understand? Please split requirements into application, user interface, and server. We are using JavaScript and Node.js. We prefer not to use pouch or couch, just a simple in-memory key-value store with periodic sync. This resulted in a properly formatted requirements document. And then I added, to communicate ideas in more detail for the purpose of greater precision and less ambiguity, let's create the necessary classes using modern JavaScript. Please make sure all the properties and methods are there and use JS-doc type code comments. Update the requirements documents to feature code. Use Markdown with code blocks. Give it an MDN, Mozilla Developer Network, feel, as they explain everything rather well. Here is the requirements doc. We are using JavaScript Node.js. Again, I consider the requirements document to be an intermediate representation of what is a blank application that doesn't really do anything. It's kind of a very vague framework. We were not making a specific program, just setting up the server, application or brain, and user interface client to the brain. I used one of the free leading AI, and like I mentioned, it generated about 1,100 lines of both English text and well-documented code. Because I was just giving a general representation, AI just went through the general motions without much fanfare. It generated more code than I expected, in the good way, and created a neat, simple, flat directory structure as well. I later used another AI to convert the text art directory tree to Unix commands that generate blank files, and without any trouble. That in itself is quite a miracle. We're talking about converting an ASCII art tree to some shell scripts. Pretty interesting. The overall resulting document is nothing short of a miracle. The AI created something that is not really possible. And the only problem is that we didn't have an application in mind. But even so, nothing stopped it from accounting for all the classes and leaving things up to us to define later. And again, this would be done in the requirements doc, so you're not really programming, you're just outlining what needs to be done. I did find a small or a non-issue issue. The problem was with the signal implementation. It was incomplete. Now, under the first prompt, AI wanted me to use third-party signals. So originally that was not a problem, and even after it added code and its own signal implementation, it was still showing the link that I should optionally use the correct implementation, a third-party implementation. So when I asked it for code in the second prompt, it made the third-party signal implementation optional and wrote its own. However, this was incomplete, kind of shallow, and followed only what I said and not what signals are supposed to be. So I took it back to the AI and I asked, "Can you find anything wrong with this code?" And then I pasted in just the code, no instructions from me this time. And it found everything wrong with it, even suggesting correcting comments and adding a clear method for improved memory management. Here is what it said. The signal class is functional, but could benefit from a getter method for accessing the current value, intermediate callback execution on subscribe. This was a big deal. Fantastic catch. Error handling for callbacks, type checking, optimizations like using a set for subscribers or skipping updates for unchanged values. This is a huge deal. And then enhanced documentation and memory management features. It provided all the code snippets demonstrating these issues and asked, "Would you like me to provide a revised version of the code incorporating these improvements?" Again, this is a miracle. So when I originally asked it to create the requirements document based on the original poem, I should have added, "Check what is wrong with the requirements and fix it." And then when asking for code, I should have stated, "Check what is wrong with the code that you generated and fix it." These free AIs may drop in intelligence if you ask for too much, but we are talking about validity of the code in the requirements document, which is very large. And there's that one final pass left, where you ask a programming AI to actually create code on the hard disk and sprinkle in code tests. There, we have to ask for final code, but it's nice to have valid code in the requirements doc as well. That final file generation pass should really be made with a program in mind. So we should tell the AI that, oh, this is a programming framework, or maybe a content management system, or a parse server clone, or maybe some kind of a database user interface where we can create apps and models. AI just should know what it's building. This way it will be able to add more valid code. And this concludes this text. I didn't get into too many details, I hope. The miracle of creating a requirements document with code snippets and actual full classes worked. There is really nothing anybody can say. This is stunning, shocking, unbelievable. The whole world is speechless. And whoever you may be, you have no choice but to become a code wizard. You don't have to study programming first. You just talk to the AI in English. But as you play with your programs, you will pick up on it. This is so much fun, and just too easy and too inviting to ignore. We are definitely living in the future. In just the span of last month, we got free web searching AIs, and now just about today, command line coding AIs. Performing a web search as part of answering your questions creates a sturdy construction with very fine foundation, as it's not just one website that the AI looks up. In some cases, it's 20. The command line AIs are the ones that convert the requirements doc to actual code files and add in that final testing framework. It's just one line of code. It's not a challenge to learn at all. The testing framework will list all the features and commands that are broken or still need work, and again, the AI will take it from there. This is all so unbelievable and wonderful and ridiculous. You don't even really need to think too much about the requirements document. You just describe your program and tell the AI to create the requirements document, then add in the code, see what things need fixing or what else you may wish to add, and then tell a file creating AI to set everything up. I think the word miracle describes this quite well.